Here again today with John Smoltz for our daily conversation. John, Game 3 will be happening today. It didn't happen yesterday. First, I want to talk to you about the impact of that. It does make a difference for pitchers, moving them all around. What is your opinion on this? Obviously, Ranger Suarez now starting tonight instead of Noah Syndergaard. Is this big advantage, Phillies, any advantage at all throughout the series?
I think it closes the gap of the advantage that Houston had over them in the depth of their pitching, and I think it gives Philly a little more confidence that they don't have to be so consumed with a total bullpen day. They're still going to have to use a lot of bullpen pieces, whereas Houston has a lot more assets. So it does close the gap, and it makes it a little more level than what typically would have happened if there were 3 in a row without that off day. The decision's a lot easier for Philadelphia. They go more normal kind of starters the next 2 games. They may sprinkle in Syndergaard if they need them. They may not. So they have options now that they didn't have before the day off.
So now Game 5, as it's set, it could always change. Noah Syndergaard is set to start that day if he doesn't throw in these days. So from my perspective, they're just pushing that day back. They're going to have a bullpen day at some point because they're not bumping Wheeler up.
Right.
So I think this is a big benefit for Phillies in the bullpen as well, because today was supposed to be the bullpen day. They were going to throw all of their guys with 2 days following. Now the bullpen day is going to come 1 day before the off day. So I think this is benefit Phillies, obviously, for these first 2 games, but a big benefit for the bullpen as well. Is that crazy?
No, it's accurate. I think the mindset of Syndergaard stinks a little bit. If you're him, you're like ready to pitch, and then all of a sudden now you don't know when you're going to pitch, and that can fluctuate a pitcher from here or there. Be interesting to see how Suarez bounces back. Even though it was a short out of the bullpen type routine, it's out of the routine. And starters are creatures of habits. He seems to be a cool cat under the pressure, so it may not bother him at all. But I'd be interested to see how his RPMs are early on, because when you start a World Series game, that's totally different than a postseason game. It's going to be a little bit more adrenaline, and if that flattens out his pitches, that's what I'm looking for early on, to see if he's got that touch early. If he does, that means his heart beats right.
I feel like this is something we've seen more in recent years, but Suarez starting tonight after pitching out of relief earlier in the series. Did you ever do that? Did you ever have a start and pitch on your bullpen day, if you will?
I did it later in my career. My arm was about ready to fall off. It was right before Tommy John. I pitched, got a save because John Rocker had to come in early. I got a save in Game 2, started Game 4, went 8 innings, tweaked my elbow, and then came in relief in Game 6. The dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I gave up 4 runs, a 3-run homer. I had nothing. I pitched on stupid guts, which we all do at time from time, and then of course I pitched in the World Series and then had Tommy John. It's not as easy as people think. It can be done, but I think the mistake a lot of organizations make is they never do it in the regular season and then all of a sudden throw it in the postseason as if it's no big deal, and it has backfired on a lot of teams at the most important time of the year.
I always remember Justin saying a pitch in the playoffs is like 2 pitches during, 2 pitches in the playoffs is like, it's amplified in the postseason. So I think people assume, okay, Ranger Suarez is pitching on his bullpen day, but how much of a difference is it taking those pitches in the most high leverage situations that you could possibly be in?
It's the easiest thing to say. It has no bearing whatsoever. It's not a bullpen day. But it's easy to say because it would be your bullpen day. But you never throw a bullpen game like a game you go in to pitch 2 hitters. You're revved up more. The engines are going. Even if it's only 2 or 3 hitters, it's still a little bit more effort than a regular bullpen day. So I don't buy it always, but at this time of the year, you use your assets the way you can. You hope it works. But I've seen a lot of injuries come out of it. I've seen other teams abuse guys because their weapons are really good, and I've seen that have a carryover effect. I'm not saying that's happening to Suarez. He's not a max effort guy, but max effort guys are the ones you have to watch because they're coming in, unloading the tank, and then they do that again as they start.
Does this change the Astros' approach at all, you think, tonight? Are we expecting what they did to Zach Wheeler? Are we expecting them to work the count a little bit? What do you expect to see from the Astros lineup?
I think they know that this game has a chance to be more of a bullpen game. So you try to get the lead early and change the bullpen formula. In this day and age, there's a winning bullpen formula and there's a behind bullpen formula, and you want the behind bullpen formula if you're Houston. And I think they're going to try to single out certain pitches that Suarez does and see where he's at. And I think that's normal because if you got a young pitcher, you want to see where he's at before you maybe can be more prototypical with a veteran that knows he's going to come in with heaters.
Yeah. Speaking of the Astros lineup, Jose Altuve at the top of the lineup, started the playoffs 0 for 25, something along those lines, has heated up of late. From your perspective, a lineup that's full of studs and superstars, how important is Jose Altuve to the Astros?
To me, he's
lineup?
the most important because he can create so much havoc on the bases. He definitely can hit for power, hit for average. He makes the Astros go. And when he gets on, there is a different trickle-down effect in the lineup. It affects the way the pitchers face the hitters that are at the plate when he's on base. And so I think there's no more important person in the lineup that when Altuve gets on base, it makes the Houston Astros that much more difficult to defend.
Last one for you, John. You look back at your entire career. What do you consider your best outing on the mound?
My best outing would be one that nobody even would think it would be my best outing. I had absolutely nothing in Game 5 against the Yankees. I mean, nothing. There is no pitch I felt comfortable with. I kind of grinded my way through a 1-0 loss, I think 140 pitches. I was completely done after the first inning. To me as a pitcher, and I know everyone else who's ever pitched, you get more out of those games than when you feel great and you just dominate. Those games are far and few between. But when you have absolutely nothing and you're willing your way to get things done, that's the game I'll remember. Even though I lost 1-0, it was a game I had no business going 8 innings.
1-0. I don't think the loss is on you there if you're losing 1-0. What year was that?
96. We lost. We were up 2-0 against the Yankees. Wait, I'm going to black out. No, I've let it go.
John, thank you as always. Really appreciate it, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
You got it.